I feel like as a kid, I always took going to Disneyland for granted. Now as a fully grown adult in college, I actually find myself having the best time whenever I go to Disneyland. I mean, I feel like I can just list off a lot of the great stuff I like there, like the rides, the churros, themed events that happen there occasionally. Specifically this time, the theme is Disneyland's HalloweenTime, which I had never gone to before, so this was a really exciting experience for me. So let's not waste any time and let's just jump into what happened at our time at Disneyland. We're gonna go ahead and start off slow on our first ride, which happens to be the mini adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I think usually when we go on this ride, the line's pretty short anyway, about 5 to 10 minutes, so I think that's what I would recommend whenever you try to come here. Remember to please recycle or Jiminy Cricket will find you.
This is the end.
Anyway, this is one of my more favorite chill rides to go on. I'm not too crazy about these kind of rides in general, since I'm pretty sure they're marketed for tiny children, but I love this particular ride just for this scene. Here he goes. There he goes. Oh, there he is. This scene is so hilarious to me. I do not know why. I think it's just the absurdity of Winnie just floating up out of his body and transcending into like a crazy mad world. I just love it. The rest of the ride is pretty cute, cartoony. I'd say go on it if you have some time and if the line's short. Alright, I know we just arrived and we only been on one ride, but me and AJ are already kind of starving, so we're gonna go ahead and head over to the Plaza Inn. The many times we've been here on our previous trips, we've always been to the Plaza Inn, but we've kept getting the same thing over and over again. Fried chicken, roast beef, fried chicken, roast beef. This time was, I think this is the last time we're probably gonna eat here because it's just getting a little bit too stale for me. We were staying in line beforehand waiting for the restaurant to open up at 11 a.m. AJ went off on her own to snag these buttons from a cast member. We got these happily ever after buttons since it was the anniversary of our 3 years together. Pretty cute. The line still wasn't moving when she got back, so this time I went off on my own to trade some pins. I got super into pin trading the last time I was there, as you can see from my lanyard. AJ told me to trade one of her pins for another one that I would think she would like. I ended up getting this cute and simple little Mickey Mouse pin. I also wanted to get her reaction on camera, but as I was heading back, the line for the restaurant was moving and I had to move around. It was pretty funny that I got that on camera. Here you go. You like that one?
I like that one.
After our lunch, we went to go take pictures in front of the big Mickey pumpkin in the middle of the street. And since we had the Max Pass, we got to keep the pictures our professional photographer took of us. I especially like this one. I feel like you can slap a Disneyland logo on here and make it look like a real advertisement for Disneyland. Afterwards, we rode Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and unfortunately, I didn't get any footage from this ride because I'm very paranoid about dropping my phone on rides. Actually, that's going to be a trend for this video. You're not going to see a lot of ride footage unless it's a dark ride. I apologize for that. For my verdict, I would say Big Thunder is not bad, but also nothing that's special. We got the Fast Pass for this, and I think it was pretty much worth it. I don't think I would stand in line for this, however. I think it's pretty good for what it is, but I kind of don't find it as memorable as, let's say, Matterhorn. That Yeti freaks me out sometimes. It feels like a real Yeti coming at me. Alright, next up we got the Pirates of the Caribbean? Caribbean? It's Caribbean or Caribbean? Wait, let me look this up.
Caribbean.
Okay, anyway, we went on the Pirates of the
Caribbean.
And I bet you can smell this stench if you have visited this ride before. I bet this photo just reeks of this smell. This is AJ's favorite ride at Disneyland, as it is one of the more relaxing rides. The animatronics were very charming for this ride, albeit a little dated. And some of the set pieces here are still impressive to this day. I think the Captain Jack Sparrow animatronic might be my favorite one. This reminds me of when the actor himself actually did appear on the ride in Anaheim to promote the upcoming Pirates movie at the time. I bet that was a pretty cool moment for all the onlookers of the ride.
Does the sword make my bum look big?
Alright, we're gonna transition from one dark ride to another and switching to Indiana Jones. Again, no real footage here, especially since this ride was way too fast and way too bumpy. They even show you on this introductory video on how bumpy it is. I think the theming for this queue was pretty immersive and the ride itself was really crazy and a good time, albeit a little bumpy along the way. Just don't look into the eye or you'll turn into whatever this is. A Halloween decoration? I don't know. We arrive at Star Wars Galaxy Edge, and this was my first time here, and honestly, it was pretty underwhelming. I'm not a big Star Wars guy in general, so most of this stuff doesn't really pertain to me. I just felt like there was a lot of merchandising, so it just felt like a big shopping mall. But the reason why we were here was because of the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run ride. I'm just gonna be honest here, I was really skeptical going into this ride. The ship's exterior was very detailed and meticulous, but as we snaked deeper into the queue, the line almost looked like a crowd. And then I think it hit me that they were using tape as line dividers instead of like rope. I don't understand. This was this was super weird to me because I thought, you know, the newest land, I would think they would shell out at least some rope or like a divider, like a real divider. But they're using tape. I thought this was kind of cheap on their part. Okay, also these sodas that you can purchase in the line area, I thought they were pretty cheap, but turns out they're $6. $6 for this Christmas ornament looking soda that you can drink in like 5 minutes. Yeah, not a great investment if I had a say in that. That's really funny. The rest of the queue was super boring, but I think it's when you get into the pre-show section of the ride that's where things get to be a little bit more interesting. Okay, for the record, I thought this pirate person was an actual person, but I looked it up later and it turns out this was an animatronic. Honestly, this could have fooled me because it just looks so real. I think the animatronics team did a really fantastic job on this, getting all of the pirates' fluid motions and movements. Pretty cool. We were then assigned our given tasks and then thrown into the ride. It was kind of stressful at first since we had to move fast, but it was a pretty worthwhile experience. I couldn't really film and control at the same time since this was my first time on the ride and I really wanted to be immersed piloting the ship. But I can tell you, this was a really cool experience. I think this is basically like the Star Tours ride like on crack. Like piloting a spaceship is just another whole level. There was even this lever next to me that would light up every time we would need to go into hyperspace. And whenever I pulled it and we went to hyperspace, oh my God, it was a good time. Okay, it's finally time to get into the queue for Haunted Mansion Holiday. But before we get in line, we're gonna grab a churro real quick. Specifically, I'm talking about the Bride Churro. And this was filled with vanilla and covered in powdered sugar. And honestly, tasted delicious. It was really powdery and left a mess at times, and it really felt like a beignet in churro form. I couldn't stop to take a break from eating this thing until it was gone. Definitely, you're gonna wanna snag this if it's ever around the park again. Okay, Haunted Mansion Holiday. This was probably the most brutal wait time of all the rides there. We waited an hour for Smuggler's Run, but we had to wait an hour and a half here at Haunted Mansion. I'm serious when I say you actually could watch the entirety of The Nightmare Before Christmas in line and you still wouldn't be up next for the ride. We couldn't grab a fast pass early enough to get an early time, so we had to suffer the consequences. That being said, it did make for some good shots outside of the mansion. We were unwavering about leaving since people had told us that Haunted Mansion during Halloween is something you had to experience at least once. And when we got in, oh man, did that statement ring true. All of the typical Haunted Mansion decor has been given the Christmas treatment, making it a rather quaint time rather than a scary one. And the ride itself was strangely amazing, even though it was basically just a redone version of Haunted Mansion. Seeing Jack and Sally appear in Haunted Mansion felt pretty surreal to me. I didn't record it, but all of the jump scare skeletons behind the tombstone all had Santa hats, which was pretty humorous to me. The entire ride was changed so much, it felt like a whole new experience compared to its regular rendition. I love it when you exit the ride, Sally is saying goodbye to you, and that's just a wholesome replacement for when it's just normally creepy.
Hurry back! Hurry back!
Yeah, I know. Okay, pretty hungry after Haunted Mansion, so we're gonna go ahead and eat at Hungry Bear Restaurant. I got the Caretaker, which was, I think, Haunted Mansion's 50th anniversary special meal item thing. It was a pork belly sandwich with other stuff in it. I think you can check from there. And AJ got, I think, just a regular burger, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, it was good. The food was good, pretty filling. Got me fueled up for the next ride. We got these little wishable mystery plush things next to Haunted Mansion, and I think we wanted Zero and Jack the most, and that's what we got, which was pretty lucky of us. We got in line for the Cocoa Churro, which was kind of like a chocolate churro with like a little bit of added spice and a chocolate sauce next to it. Honestly, it wasn't as great as the Bride Churro in my opinion, but it was still not that bad. I think the highlight of waiting in line for the Cocoa Churro though was that the Phantasmic show was right there next to us. We got to see a little bit of here and there of the show, especially this weird pirate ship scene here.
Oh my god.
Pretty jarring. Alright, we are ending on a high note and my personal favorite ride, Hyperspace Mountain. I was pretty surprised they didn't change it to their usual spooky version, which was Ghost Galaxy. I think maybe this was the only year they didn't do that, which was kind of lame, I guess. But it didn't really matter to me because I actually love the Star Wars rendition better. I prefer it over the plain vanilla Space Mountain since the Star Wars theme blasts in your face as you begin the ride. Hypes me up a lot. This ride goes fast. The sound effects really make you feel like you're dogfighting and dodging ships left and right. And I always use the Fast Pass for this ride because I know I'll be super impatient waiting to ride Space Mountain. This time was super special for me and AJ because we actually got the front row seats, which we had never gone before, and you can see in this photo right here, I'm having a good time. Okay, I hope this video was sort of entertaining. I didn't really find myself doing these kinds of travel-ish videos, but I think the main reason I'm doing these videos is just to kind of document and reminisce about my college years, as depressing as that sounds. I just don't want to be like regretful of not really documenting my life a lot more. I also have some footage from the next day after Disneyland, and that's going to be arcade related as well as some other stuff inside. So stay tuned for that. Again, thank you so much for watching if you made it this far, and take care.